Howdy, everybody. We are fired up to be here and talk about getting into business or growing your business. This is Your Questions, Your Money on the Fox Business Network. I'm Dagan McDowell.
And I'm Tracy Burns. This is one of my favorite parts of the show.
I'm not doing it again.
Yes, you are. 1:30, tune in. All right, you got a business idea, and listen to this one. She had a business idea that has the sweet smell of success. But will our venture capitalist take a whiff? Bet you're wondering what it is.
We're not going to tell you, but it's coming up in our pitch segment at the bottom of the hour. But we're also here to help you. If you have any questions about your business, if you have an idea for a business, if you want to grow yours, what do? You pick up the phone and you call us, 877-249-9626, or send us an email to yourmoney@foxbusiness.com. Incredible people here in the coming hour. Let's introduce our first panel of guests to answer your questions about your money. We have Dan Dooling of Swivelheads, a company specializing in retraining workers. Currently, he's working with veterans and displaced GM employees, among others. Dan, it's so great of you to be here. And also, as always, Dani Babb of the Babb Group and John Rutledge of Rutledge Capital. We wish you were here. Guys, you look fantastic.
Wow.
Well, thank you.
It's
Good morning,
actually
Dagan. Good morning, Tracy.
Space Invaders-esque, the back of your scenery there, you guys. Are you on a spaceship? Yeah. That's what it looks like. You're at NASA.
Well, that would be nice.
Mars. We're at Mars.
Dan, are you out there starting another business, Dani? Is that what you're doing? You're in Cali, aren't you?
Actually, I'm working on one of the ones that I have, but it's a nice idea, Dagan.
No, I'm sure you have like 8,000
Or she's
ideas.
writing a book at lunch or something like that.
But listen, we just want to start with chatting with Dan. Dan, great of you to be here. Again.
Well, thank you.
How long ago did you start the business? And again, as Tracy pointed out earlier, it's about finding opportunity in a tough situation for many people.
Absolutely. I started the company back in 2000, and I thought coming out of the corporate world that I had all the answers, and I found very, very quickly that my skills really actually pigeonholed me into believing that I was better prepared to enter the entrepreneurial market than what I actually was.
Now, you started, though, I mean, you got a background with the armed forces. I mean, fill everybody in on what you did prior to even entering corporate America.
Okay. What I did was for 12 years I was in special operations. I was attached to the Rangers. After I got out of that, I went into the staffing industry. For me, it was a very black and white environment to where either you performed and you could come back Monday and try it again, or they asked you not to come back at all. So it was a great transition point for me to learn some of the business skills that I wanted to. And what I found very, very quickly was the lack of planning and the lack of communication that actually took place. And some of the successes that were being experienced based off more out of luck than out of being planned for.
This is while you were part of the federal government.
No, this was after.
Because
yes.
It's interesting. My brother was with the federal government for a while, and one of his complaints was the lack of communication between agencies. And you were with the CIA, DEA, the Navy SEALs. I mean, so you've been with all of them, so you have firsthand knowledge of how this lack of communication can pretty much tear down the system.
Not with them. I worked for them and supported them, and you're absolutely correct. The right-hand, left-hand scenario was absolutely true.
Right.
And it was a mirror image within corporate America, and I wanted to make change within that area using the skills that the Armed Forces trained me to use and to delegate and to implement into my daily activities as a non-commissioned officer.
Dan, with Swivelheads, are you working with individuals or are you working with companies to even retrain employees who might be getting laid off? Just fill us in on what you're doing today.
Okay. We're working with both. We work with corporations, we work with nonprofits, we work with schools, we work with displaced workers, not really dependent on the auto industry, but that's our focus as of late. And what we're doing is when they leave, they have a nest egg, and they think, okay, I've worked in this big process that I've been moderately successful in, but sometimes their ego gets in the way and they think they're being more successful than what they were. They understand different levels of business. And so what we do is we help them to identify their strengths and their weaknesses, because when they come out, they think that they're very, very equipped to start their own business, and they find out very, very quickly, and for some, they lost their nest egg, that they're not equipped. So we help them to realize exactly where they're at and then how to march on.
How do you do it? With questionnaires? I mean, I remember coming out of college, I took the Myers-Briggs test because I didn't know what to do with myself. Like, how do you know?
What did it tell you? What did it tell you?
Right.
Would you believe attorney?
Really?
Yeah. So, how do you assess these people?
We're not for everybody. We're very, very gut level, and we speak the truth 100% of the time. And the feedback that we're giving them is honest and true, and we don't elect to work with everybody because some of them would be better off going into an established process and instead of creating one on their own. So what we do is we do a series of questions. We find out what their passion is, what their beliefs are, what they're interested in, what their skill levels are.
Dan, hold that thought real quick, because right now it's 6 minutes after the hour. We just have to welcome our radio listeners on Sirius and XM. I'm Dagan McDowell along with Tracy Burns. This is Your Questions, Your Money on the Fox Business Network, and we're talking about your business, being an entrepreneur and being inspired.
And reinventing yourself. So call us, 877-249-9626. You can always email us, yourmoney@foxbusiness.com. And we'll keep taking your calls. But I just love this notion of, you know what? People get laid off. You can be retrained and you can get back out there again.
Dan, where is the opportunity? Where do you see the opportunity for your business growth? How are you growing it?
Well, we're growing it by maximizing opportunity, and what's happened with the auto industry, it's an unfortunate opportunity, but it's a realization as well. And where we're going to grow is by helping people to grow in the entrepreneurial spirits, their dream, their businesses. One interesting thing that we do at Swivelheads is when we work with a group of individuals that want to start their company, they don't pay us a fee. What we want is back when equity share. That forces us to keep them on our radar and to keep them center mass in our site group so we can give them the expertise, whether it's from within our organization or we bring that expertise in to help them to keep growing.
John Rutledge, are you listening? I want you and Danny to weigh in on what Dan is doing. Again, because the word keeps coming up, but it's about opportunity.
It is, you know, and it's my grandma used to say it's not a sin to get knocked down, but it is a sin to stay down. Dan's helping people back and make that transition from layoffs to a new career. I think that's a wonderful thing. I am interested or curious, though, Dan, most businesses that people start are not businesses that will ever be sold, which means there's no opportunity to realize value out of an equity interest. How do you handle getting paid in a situation where someone is starting a company that they'll just own and run forever rather than transact the stock at some point?
Well, in that scenario, we're always hoping that the entrepreneurial spirit leads to something that's big and that can be sold. But in the event that it's not, we want to make sure that they're able to provide, and you have to look at the purity of intent. Our intent is pure. We want to help these individuals, like you said, pick yourself up and not lay down and not use excuses as to why they can't grow and go. And what we want to do is help them build their business as big as possible, whether it's a at-home nail service or whether it's a asphalt repaving company. We're going to help them grow it to be as big as possible. So how do we make money is on volume.
Danny, I think
that's a wonderful idea. I'm sorry.
No, finish your thought.
I interviewed entrepreneur in Colombia, South America, not long ago, who had done just what you're doing, but sending people to university and taking an equity stake in their income for the first 5 years. And their return on that for the money they put in was more than 23% a year. So I think there's great opportunities to do what you're doing. But sorry, Danny.
No, I was going to ask Danny. He said asphalt repaving and then a beauty business. I'm like, I bet you Danny has started both of those businesses.
If you pave driveways, I don't even know what I'm going to say to that.
I'm not kidding. She's technology solutions, product. Anyway, Danny, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that what Dan's teaching people by example here is that you can take your experience in corporate America, you can take your experience in the military working for the government, you can bring all this together to start your own business. We've had a lot of people tweeting us lately saying, can you talk more about job opportunities working from home with experience from corporate America. And I think this is a perfect example of helping people do exactly that. There's a lot of opportunity out there to do that before you even get laid off. You don't have to just take action after, you know, somebody's already slammed a door in your face. You can start now and slam the door on them later on when you want to.
But Dani, actually, that's a point that you've made before, and Dan, you might want to address this, is that if you know it's coming or you feel it in the air, I mean, let's face it, we're all not fools, right? You know, you feel it at work. Start thinking about the next step, plan B. And now's the time when you're still employed to start thinking about that next job and maybe going out on your own and socking some money away or working on your product. I mean, Dan, do you talk to people about that kind of stuff as well?
We absolutely do. And when times are great, everyone wants to create something where they can make money while they're making money. Well, they can still do that when the economy is the way it is right now. It's just, what's their focus? Do they have the ability to plan for it? Can they execute it? And some people have the ability to run 2 or 3 different initiatives while holding down a full-time job. Some aren't able to. And those are the answers and the honesty that we give them.
Guys, why don't you can also view that side job as an insurance policy. You don't have to expect being laid off. Dan was talking earlier about a nest egg. I'm in the middle of writing a book about a 401k right now. The average 401k balance in America is $97,000. $100,000 in an account like that is enough to pay you $300 a month during retirement. So you need more nest egg than most people think.
It's a very good point.
Exactly.
Somebody, Madge has called in from Michigan. She has a question about starting a particular business. Madge, go ahead.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Madge.
My question is, My question is to start a business. What I'm trying to do, or what I would like to do, is create a frozen dessert. I've already got the recipe and everything, but I don't know how to go about it. I know with food handlers, and I'm under the impression that you're not supposed to bake from your kitchen because of rules and regulations and everything. But I wanted to get out into a mass market for an all-natural dessert that I've been scouring different markets, and I really have not seen it. I've been doing research about a year, and I really haven't seen it, so I don't know what to do, how to go about it.
Well, Madge, we're going to do a whip around with your idea to find out what everybody thinks. But I will say one thing that's come up on the show repeatedly is not so you have to look at it as it seems like you already are. But is there a demand for your product? Rather, a lot of people think I have this great product and I really want to sell it. But you've gone out there and seen if there at least is a competing product. But that's one of the first things you have to assess. Is there demand for what you are going to be selling? Is there a need out there? But Dan, since you work in Michigan as well, give Madge some guidance on where to start.
Well, Madge, I think we need to figure out here, do you want to own this company and have the financial responsibility for setting up the process and keeping with the federal regulations on it, or do you want to take this concept and sell it to a bigger giant, say like General Mills or somebody like that?
Number 2.
Okay, well then that's a completely different process going forward. So what I would suggest you do is you write down what you want to do, and I've got even a forward question from that is your dessert good?
It is awesome. Let me tell you.
It is awesome.
I mean, they knock down my doors. I have to call the police to get them off my porch. No, just kidding, just kidding. But yes, it really is good.
But Dan makes a great point, and I know we have to wrap. And the one thing that I know we've always heard out of you, Dani, is it's one thing for your family to says it's knocked down, drop dead good. It's a whole other thing to get it out there. So bring it to the church picnic, bring it to the boys' club dinner at night, and get it out there. And you need other people to sample this thing.
I've done that, and that's how people are talking me into doing it.
Right. Dani, go ahead.
Yeah, well, what I was saying, imagine, it sounds like maybe she's done that, is to take the product to local fairs, local supermarkets, and test market it and tweak it out, basically. Document what it is you're trying to do, document your process and your procedure, and then depending upon what it is you want to do with it, ultimately from there, it sounds like what you'd really rather do is not have to manage it and sell it, but you're still going to have to go through the ground level work of surveying, finding out what the consumer base feels about it, documenting the nutrition components, contact the health department in your local state, and work on it from there. Do you have any?
No, but every restaurant owner in your town is going to know the food regulations, and the health department will too. And you can fly under the radar before you bring this thing to market, so you can use your kitchen intensively, and there are also restaurants that are not using their kitchens in off hours that you can probably just rent space. And don't put a lot of money in brick and mortar in this thing. You find a way to keep your costs down.
Yeah, I love all those ideas.
Terrific ideas all the way around. So much, Dan. We got to take a quick break. We'll get Madge. Hope that was helpful. We're going to take a quick break. More answers to your questions about your business coming up.
Get on the phone, 877-249-9626. You can always email us, yourmoney@foxbusiness.com. We got a lot more ahead. Got another 2 hours here, so give us a call. Welcome back to the Fox Business Network. I'm Tracy Burns, along with my girl, Dagan McDowell.
We have an incredible lineup of people here to answer your questions about your business. Finding your entrepreneurial fire and spirit. If you haven't already, for those who have, if you're running a business, you're trying to grow it, you call us and we give you answers how to do that. 877-249-9626 or send us an email to yourmoney@foxbusiness.com. And we want to bring into our fabulous lineup of experts Stacey Curry Bishop of Scale Venture Partners out in Palo Alto, California. Stacey is going to be fielding our pitch in about 15 minutes, which we're very excited about. But Stacey, right now, because you focus on technology companies, internet, mobile, enterprise software, what is getting you excited in your business?
Well, I think the one thing that gets us excited is just the internet's been around for a while, but the ability to do things over the web is just phenomenal. To get software over the web, not have to install anything, just log into an internet browser and be able to get into great software programs from anywhere is phenomenal. Companies like Salesforce.com have done this. Omniture is one of our investments that companies use to manage their websites. It's just a great opportunity, and it's actually today now it's so much cheaper to actually build companies than say it was even 5-10 years ago. So that's what gets us really excited, that we're amazed at what companies can do today on such little money and get it to a certain point where then we get the opportunity to invest.
You know, Stacey, it's interesting because that's kind of what I'm feeling too. And a lot of, financial advisors were worried that the tech sector wasn't going to pull us out of this recession, that there wasn't enough newness in the industry to do that. And yet, I don't know, it seems to me that people are coming up with genius ideas. And I can't even imagine the stuff coming across your desk these days.
Yes, I think that's true, and I think it's because entrepreneurs can do so much with so little, and that's what's impressive, that what used to cost so much to just build the software, and now they can outsource it, or they can, leverage contractors to help them build the software and build it, fairly cheaply, and then also host it and do all of the things to continue to manage the software. It's great. The market is there for this, and so it creates, they're allowed to use so much more creativity to build what they want. So the opportunity is great right now.
Stacey, we're so excited that you're here. Stacey Curry Bishop of Scale Venture Partners, along with Dani Babb, John Rutledge, and Dan Dooling. Those fabulous four. You get on the horn and you give us a call.
Yeah, so we have more answers to your questions ahead. Get your calls and emails coming. These people are phenomenal, and they're at your service right now.
This is the Fox Business Network, the only business network in true HD, even on the weekend. Just shot us from the back of the head. We don't style our hair to be shot from the back. It's only the front. We have no hair in the back. It's all just pushed forward. We're making fun, but this is serious business because we're Fox Business. We're here to answer your questions about your business.
And that entrepreneurial spirit that you have that needs to come out, and the panel here will help you do that. 877-249-9626. Call us. Or you can always email us, yourmoney@foxbusiness.com.
We do have somebody on the phone. Liz has called in from Florida. Liz, go ahead and ask your question.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good, thank you.
My question is, I'm starting up a new business. I've done actually a lot of research on it. But my question is, how do I go about, and should I trademark my name?
All right, Liz, you have to kind of tell us what business it is. We're dying to know.
Okay, the business is I have a wonderful recipe for cheese straws. My profession for over 25 years has been a court reporter, and I have done this for so many years, and I've had so many attorneys say, why don't you do something with this? It's really, really a great product. So I finally just took that leap of faith, and I've decided I'm going to, I've got a name for the business, and I've got several different flavors. I've got my niece out in California who is designing my package and my how it will look. But my question is, should I go ahead now, since I have a name, should I go ahead and put it and get it trademarked?
Right. Dani Babb, you take it.
All right, absolutely, Liz. You know, first of all, what I would do is, have you registered the business name? You said you have a business name. Have you registered it yet?
I have not. I actually was going to get my business license in the next week or so.
Okay,
and
once you register...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to also say that as my profession as a court reporter, I am incorporated because I'm self-employed, which I've been told by the IRS, because I am self-employed and I have my name incorporated, I could actually put my small business under that incorporation. Is that also correct?
That is correct. You can do that. I have done the same thing. I have several businesses under one corporate name. You can do that.
And I actually feel like that will help me.
Yeah, once you file, though, you're going to have to register this as a doing business as DBA, even just to get a bank account, even if you're going to put this under another corporation. So once you do that, you have some level of protection there. If you do it in multiple states, you've got protection in multiple states. But what I would do more than anything is, if this is a unique product, particularly if you're out telling people about it, is just get a 1-year provisional patent on the actual product idea. If it's something unique, if it's something that you're kind of extrapolating on from someone else, you may not need to do that. But by filing for the fictitious business name statement and doing the DBA, the doing business as, you are providing yourself some protection. I would not pay the money right now at this point to go as far as trademarking and copywriting and all that stuff. But if you're working with attorneys a lot, you probably are hearing that.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to talk to an attorney in the next couple of weeks, maybe just to help me through this. But you're saying don't worry about the patent for now. For now, do a 1-year. What was it again?
It's called a provisional patent, and you can do it online on the USPTO.gov's website.
John Rutledge, one thing about cheese straws, there are a lot of companies out there that make cheese straws. Women who had a family recipe. You know, it's just butter, flour, and cheese for the most part, with some seasonings.
Thing?
Yes,
because I don't know what it is.
It's literally butter, flour, and cheese, and some seasonings, and you make a dough and you bake it. But there are a lot of cheese straw companies. Is that something that is patentable?
Well, I don't know about whether a recipe is patentable. Do you, Dani, know that?
Yeah, it is if there's something unique about it that's not already out there in the market, then yes.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm pretty sure that Liz's cheese straws are better than anybody else's cheese straws in America. And
Liz should send them because this Jersey chicks, I don't think I've ever had one.
I'll bake you some.
Well, we need to give you some. But, you know, I always come to the first question of you have to get a customer. And so how do you attack those customers? Normally with a physical product like you have, starting locally works and then growing outward. Cheese straws is not a bad one because you can actually ship them. They're not too heavy, so you can ship case lots around. And there are websites that'll help you to do that, including our old friend Overstock.com, who's been on the show with us.
Dan, any advice?
Yeah, I think that I'm always one to protect, and if you have a very unique cheese straw, then absolutely make that investment if you're currently working to protect yourself. Secondly, I'd be more interested in where you plan to go with this and what your aspirations are, because right now you could be in the inception phase of this is going to go huge and big, but the first hurdles that come along, are you prepared through a scenario-based planning to be able to face those deceptions and be able to push through that?
Big picture. Thanks so much. Don't go away, anybody. The pitch is coming up next. Stacy is here, our venture capitalist. You do not want to miss this idea. If only we had smell-o-vision. I will leave it at that. Give him the number, Tracy.
Wow, do I love that graphic.
That's the pitch, and we're here to give it to you. I'm Daga McDowell along with Tracy Burns. It is time for my favorite segment of this hour and the next one, the pitch. An entrepreneur gets the chance to pitch his or her business idea to a venture capitalist. Today's lucky entrepreneur is Katie Masick of Masick Collegiate Fragrances. And welcome back to venture capitalist Stacy Curry Bishop with Scale Venture Partners. So we're not going to get in the way of you two ladies. So Katie, go ahead. Now, we should note that this is not, Stacy deals in technology, but she does know how to give business owners and entrepreneurs guidance. So Katie, go ahead, pitch away.
Okay, thank you for having me. Our company is called Masick Collegiate Fragrances. We create fine fragrances for universities. Now, each school in our collection has a different signature scent, men's cologne, and women's perfume. These fragrances are inspired by unique elements of each school, such as the campus flowers and trees, the school colors, and the landmark and architectural style. Now, our product is targeted at those students, alumni, and fans looking for a more unique and upscale collegiate item. The collegiate merchandise industry as a whole is growing, and it represents about $4 billion a year in sales. Our product is completely different, and there is nothing else like it. Additionally, consumers are looking for things that are more unique in the collegiate industry. If you look at the fragrance market, it's been dominated for years by celebrities and fashion designers, and we wanted to do something completely different. Also, if you think about your sense of smell, it's linked to memory. And college is one of those memorable life experiences. People often refer to it as the best 4 years of their life. Since our launch in 2008, we've had great sales, strong feedback from customers, requests for additional schools, and we've had interest from companies looking to represent our line from a sales perspective. We've also been able to secure retail distribution in a variety of outlets such as college bookstores, collegiate retailers, boutiques, clothing stores, and gift shops. We've also had interest from department stores, one of which is looking at our product right now and testing it. What we're looking for is an additional $350,000 in funding to launch our line to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you. That was a good pitch.
That was a great pitch.
Thank you.
At least we think it is. Stacy, what do you think?
So this sounds like a great gift idea, and I actually saw that I'm a Michigan alum, and you don't have Michigan yet, but I think this sounds like a really fun Christmas gift. But what I would want to know as a potential investor is, it sounds like you've started in a couple of schools. I'd want to know how you succeeded in those schools, sort of what marketing. It sounds like you haven't done a lot of marketing, but you got a lot of press. What worked? Which outlets worked best from the retail standpoint? So I'd want to look at the data that you have today to really understand, can you replicate that across, an additional 30 schools? And,
Sure.
What's the demographics of those particular, I know you did Penn State and I think North Carolina, what's the demographics of those schools as compared to the other schools where you're planning to launch, where there might be similar characteristics where it will work?
Katie, can you answer any of those questions for Stacy?
Yeah, sure. I can talk a bit about the marketing of the product. Basically, what we've done, because it is a scent and you can test it, we've gone on the college campuses to football games. And we've literally set up tents and passed out little sample vials of the fragrances, the men's and the women's. People come up, they spray themselves with it, they get the little samples to take home. We've also networked with the alumni associations, which has been a great way to get out to that demographic. The alumni are a huge buyer of this product. They're probably our biggest segment, alumni and fans. So we've gone out through them. We've done giveaways at alumni holiday parties, black tie affairs. We've done fundraisers in terms of silent auctions, providing our bottles, and it's just a way to get the product out there in front of our consumers. And it's interesting, this product is appealing to a variety of age ranges. We've seen high school students come up and want to buy it because they love Penn State or Carolina and it's the school they want to go to. And we've seen 70-year-old alumni coming up wanting to get it for their significant other around the holidays or for Valentine's Day. It really crosses the board, because if you think college, it impacts a lot of us. It's a part of our life.
Agreed on that. Yeah, I agree with that. And I could see this, reaching a wide range of consumers and alumni and whatnot. And so also would want to know which retail outlets worked best. I know you were on campus giving away, but then where were people actually buying it? From your website or from the local stores, or actually, when you set up the tents, were they buying it there? Where did you have the most success?
We probably had the most success through the college bookstores. That's where we went early on, and now we're just starting to expand out more into other retailers. So I'll probably have additional data within the next several months that come in as we expand out. We did sell in the college bookstores that were on campus, so when alumni and fans would come in for games and different events, they would go there and see the product and purchase it. We sell it at most of the stadiums have stores, so we would sell it there as well. Collegiate retailers, not only in the town of the college, but different fan shops spread throughout the state of a college. We've had success there as well. And we do sell it online. A lot of our retailers sell it on their websites, and we sell it on our website. And we've been surprised, actually, how many people are purchasing a fragrance online.
Stacy, talk to her about the money, because she's asking for $350,000. Is that a reasonable amount? Just how do you rate her pitch, and where could she possibly go for funding? Is it VC funding? What kind of fundraising would you recommend for her?
Well, on the fundraising side, it probably isn't at the point where it's at the VC level where they would make an investment. There might be a few seed investors who do really early stage investments where I would say this falls, given the amount of investment, who may look at something like this, but they'll also want to look at that sort of early data that you have with the two schools. One question that I have, and this goes to how, the money aspect, is how do you plan to expand to these other schools? Will it be all 30 schools at once, or do you plan to kind of roll it out slowly, school by school, like you've done to date with the two? And that gets the question, do you need the $350,000 now, or would it be better to maybe start with 50, expand into 5 schools, test out a lot of things, see what works, and then maybe take it to, further from there?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. If we fund it ourselves, we're planning on this fall, and we had this plan to launch in about 5 additional schools. We're going to hit Alabama, Tennessee, Auburn, Florida, and I think 1 or 2 others. Now, certainly if we get additional funding, we would try and ramp up and get our formulations done and hit an additional, 10 or 15 schools. You can do it both ways. We have a good process now. Okay. We've been working on the line now for about a year.
Do you get a lot of leverage by creating all the fragrances at once in terms of economies of scale? Or is
we do.
Okay. That would be one argument for, going broad at first. But in my gut, I would think would be more to kind of start small, because it probably will be different for some schools. And I know you've gotten a lot of press that's helped you get the word out. But if you're having to go this sort of ground roots where you're putting people at the campuses, at football games, if you can't, it'll be hard for you to do it all yourself, so you'll have to have people help you. Now, maybe you can get, say, a sorority or fraternity on site to do the marketing for you, which would be very cost effective.
Exactly. We thought about doing that, some sort of campus ambassador, right, exactly, who represented our line and could do marketing for us on campus and even through the Alumni Association.
Stacy, can you give her a verdict?
My verdict would be start small. Start with a small amount of money and go to those 5 schools and then see how it does. Because also one question is, you get those upfront sales, but then do you sell to a new group of people the following year, or do those people come back? One thought that came to mind, could you expand the product set where it's not just fragrance? Could it be the body lotions or scented, you have the signature scent for candles or other products? You could have the signature scent for the school that then is applicable to other products.
Right,
so I think that's interesting. But I think my advice would be start small. Figure out what works for these next 5 schools.
Sure, yeah. And I'd also like to say thank you to our fragrance house. They're in Manhattan. They're called Fragrance Resources. John Wallace and Christoph and the team, they've been a great support with us through the beginning for this line, and they've just been huge with a lot of ideas and just great formulations for us.
Hey, let's bring John and Dani back into this. John, what do you think of Katie's idea? I know I went to Lehigh, and this first scent that comes to my mind is like bad beer, so I'm not really sure how you bottle that.
Tracy, that's every university in the country.
Yeah, I know.
That's the first scent that comes to my mind.
Stale beer.
Part of my brain always goes off in the direction of like locker room scent and all these other things, but I think that she's got a great idea here. There's always one most important thing about a business to figure out. I think for you the most important thing is the marketing. How are you going to actually bring this and get it delivered to the people? Because people do love the brands of their schools because of the experience, but you have to get it to them. So the campus rep idea I thought would work. You can also sell this remotely through places like Sky Mall on airplanes. This is the kind of thing, this would be an impulse buy for somebody. You could do it with fundraisers, with alumni groups. the development office of a university outreaches to people to try and keep them be loyal to the university. And lots of different ways to do it. But I believe the marketing is the thing, not spending yourself into trouble in the beginning so you can get the marketing right, and then you can roll it out to other schools. You know, there are places that drive football games for schools. Places like, I was once an investor in a company called Raycom that's the biggest producer of college football. So you'll find guys in places like that. But get the marketing right, and I think the business will work.
Dani, I think Stacy made a great point, is that you go out, you buy, especially as an alum, you buy the product because it's novelty and it's cool, but then you want to keep them in the product, you know, so bar soap or hand lotion or something. I mean, is that something she should be thinking about as well?
Yeah, but later on down the road, I think the brand needs to get established, and she needs to, you know, do the test marketing through the actual product, which I think, you know, it sounds like Katie's already doing. I agree with Stacy's process in terms of rolling this out slowly. I don't think that it needs VC funding at this particular time. I would actually, the $350,000, interestingly enough, falls underneath the Express loan, and there's 2 organizations right now, one's a bank, one's not, that are out there helping people get that type of loan. You can get that, Katie, in about 36 hours for 6.5% over prime, with 50% down in terms of either collateral or assets or cash or something that you've got already invested in the business. And Club E Factory is helping people write the plans to do that, and HSBC Bank is actually doing the funding for this up to $350,000 right now.
All right, Katie, that was a shot. Oh, Dan wants to jump in quick. Go ahead, Dan.
Just real quick, this is teetering on emotional purchase. You're a big fan at a university. Why you'd want to smell like the Marshall Thundering Herd, I don't know. But moving forward, use the business school there. It's a cultural sale. Use the culture to tell you how to sell it to their people.
Katie, I hope that was helpful. Okay. Katie,
yes, it was. Thank you.
Collegiate Fragrances. It's called Masick Collegiate, right, Katie? Did I say your name right?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Great. Thank you so much. It's great of you to be here. Katie, please keep us up to date on how everything is going. Katie, you're only 30. You're so young.
I am.
She's
I am.
so
and I
young.
gotta say, I think it's one of the
Congratulations.
best pitches we've heard.
Thank you.
That was a very
succinct.
it was
Everything
very
was
succinct.
in it. I thought it was good.
Well done, Katie. Please stay in touch with us.
Bravo, Katie.
And
thank you.
Great job.
We're going to keep everybody up to date on what's going on, but we still got somebody on the phone.
Salvatore from New York is on the phone. Salvatore, what's going on?
How you doing? I love you guys at Fox. I always watch you.
Thank you.
Thanks. What's your question, Sal?
Okay, I have an idea for a collapsible portable shower. That how you do? There's two ideas. One, it sets up a pan with legs that sets up over a toilet, and then it'll drain in, and the walls would be like a sort of like a pop tent, and then the hose would come from the sink that connects to the aerator, and that's how you would bring the water to the top of the shower with with a regular shower handle. So it can be collapsed down and then be taken away, so people can use it like a garage mechanic after work. He wants to clean up. You can go on to something else, or a lot of different situations.
Sal, have you actually designed this thing yet, or is this just still a concept?
No, I made a crude one, and I actually filmed my wife in a bathing suit doing it.
It's all in the marketing, Sal.
Well, I think that's why he's calling. Sal, are you calling in to talk about how to market it?
Exactly. I right now I just have a provisional, and I don't have very much money.
What's the price point on this thing, you think?
Depending on the base is to get it molded is probably going to be the biggest cost. I've contacted places like Kohler and different plumbing places to see if they can help me, but most of them want me to have a full patent before they even look at it.
Right.
Well, so it's probably maybe $200. I'm guessing.
Well, Salvatore, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere, okay? We're just going to take a break, and we're going to get everybody to weigh in on your idea. I'm thinking of as seen on TV.
And that's exactly why I asked. AJ Kubani is
$19.99
or less only. That's why I asked the price point.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break and answer your question, Salvatore. The phone number is 877-249-9626, or the email address is yourmoney@foxbusiness.com.
And next hour, we're talking about starting your own business, being entrepreneurial. Get you the blue flame, as John Rutledge says. Get it out there. We'll be right back. Call us. We're still here on a Saturday in HD.
Answers to your questions about starting, running, growing your business here on the Fox Business Network. I'm Dagan McDowell along with Tracy Burns. Let's just answer Salvatore's question about his portable shower. Who wants to take it first? I'm going to John Rutledge and Dani Babb. It's not, but again, he's taken it to the next level. He even filmed his wife in a bikini demonstrating it.
That could have been the whole point of the shower.
That's a very valuable step to take, and I admire him for that.
Control him, Dani. Control this man.
This is not a corporate product. We'll throw this to
Let's face it, that's the only reason Sal created the shower, right? To make the movie.
Absolutely. You
All right.
take this.
Well, besides putting that video on YouTube, you can actually show the usefulness of this product. Let me tell you a personal story. All right.
Oh,
my brother. This is not bad. My brother created something for the camping community that hooks on the back of a Jeep, and it happens to be the toilet part of the shower. And he has had a lot of people.
So you drag a toilet behind a Jeep?
You know what? Just be quiet for a minute. Right. He's just as difficult when we're remote as he is in New York. Okay, so basically what he did is he took PVC pipe. He brought a welder. He learned how to weld. He created this thing, and he's had tons and tons of people interested in this product, and he's now and has been looking at mass producing it. He's more of wants to go play with the Jeep rather than continue to build the product, but he had the opportunity. But my point here is that if you can build a prototype even out of PVC, something that would show that it would actually work. I love the idea, but in terms of the marketing aspect, I think that you might need to go to the club level, the camping clubs, the people who do construction like you talked about, the Jeeping clubs. Get it in those Jeeping magazines where you can buy the ads in the back of the magazine for $75 for a month. Get it on the Jeeping and the camping club websites. Talk to people at REI that have portable all sorts of things for campers and hikers. I would start at that sort of level and build up and see what interest there is, and you might be able to go to some websites like Club E-Factory or the Go Big Network and link with people who have created similar products that can help you get the product built so you have a prototype. But you also have to figure out what it's really going to cost and what your profit margin is going to be so you can figure out what the product is actually going to cost when you start to market it to these people.
John, should he weigh trying to essentially sell the idea to another company rather than taking it in the direction that Dani's brother is?
This is not a corporate product. I was on the board of directors of American Standard, which is like Kohler, a big plumbing products company. This is not the sort of product that works for a company like that. It's almost a guerrilla product that works with small niche groups of highly identified customers. So I would push it in the direction Dani's talking about.
Dan, Dagan and I before the break were both referring to As Seen on TV, that company that has all those great infomercials. The price point on their products, though, is generally much cheaper than what he's looking at. So, what do you throw out to him with his product as far as getting it out there and marketing, doing some guerrilla marketing with this thing?
You got to make it into a no-brainer to purchase. If it's $200, they're going to jump in a stream with a bar of soap. If you make it $19.99 or something along those lines, then it's going to be much more of an advantage to have than not to have.
Right, because $200 sounds like a fair amount of money to me, no?
We were guys, we were laughing about, John, I think you made the joke about you putting the video on YouTube. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. When I heard that, I was like, I'm not talking about dirty videos, but, it's...
No, but all you have to do is put a little lady in the shower tag, and the next thing you know, he's getting a lot of hits.
Isn't that how the guys from the pizza, the biodegradable, the recycled pizza box who were on last week, that's how they were discovered. He put a video up on the internet of him folding the box. Isn't that right? And then Ashton Kutcher found it. and tweet
yeah,
it.
And Salvatore may actually find people pinging him asking for the product that way. I mean, I've encouraged my brother to do it. It's a little hard to take a picture of someone sitting on a toilet. It's a little more difficult. But the bikini idea on YouTube and all the other networking sites, I would do that in a heartbeat, and I would get a website up for it so that you can actually place an order as soon as there's a prototype. And you know, if you get 10 orders in a month, you might be in pretty good shape. And also the $200 price point for camping and hiking and all those people there, I mean, you know, I know plenty of people who will go to REI and drop $500, $600 right before a hiking trip for stuff that they even already have just because it's the latest and
don't
greatest.
just do the bikini. Take another YouTube one of a guy taking a shower for the chicks and the gay guys.
Oh, boy.
I never understood the notion of spending $500 on camping gear when you could just get a room at the Four Seasons.
I'm a camper.
Right, exactly.
I love camping. I'm a camper.
I've got
Straight to an email from a viewer. Al has written in and said, I am planning to approach companies to pitch my business plan. How do I protect the intellectual property that I am pitching? Stacy, you get pitched. That is your bread and butter. That is your business. What do you tell Al?
Well, one thing that he could do is have the companies pitching to sign a non-disclosure agreement. And that way, then he's protected by this agreement that, you know, they can't take the idea. Venture capitals don't always sign those, or often don't sign those, because it's their business. They're not going to take the idea and go give it to someone else because they'd ruin their reputation. But companies, perhaps they could do that, or also just only show parts of the business. Don't show the whole, you know, end to end how you do it. But that's, you know, that's one way to get around it, is through the non-disclosure agreement if they're willing to sign that.
John Rutledge, that is a central problem with getting in front of a business to talk about your product that you're developing, is they don't want to hear about it because they're worried about lawsuits, right? I mean, you've said that repeatedly.
Well, that's true. You know, patent law in the last 10, 15 years has become liberalized to the point where you can patent inhaling and then get a different patent for exhaling. And along with that have developed guys that are called patent farmers who go around and buy patents up and then sue the hell out of people for doing things. So many businesses I know have a guy whose job it is to not let people in there to tell you about their idea so you can't sue them later. And as an investor, if I signed a non-disclosure agreement for somebody, that's just a kick-me sign on my back unless I'm really sure. Because basically that piece of paper lets them sue you, but it gives you nothing. And so it's not a smart piece of paper. So you need to find guys who either do this for a living or guys who have a particular interest in your product who want to sign.
I think he has a kick-me sign on his I think he has a kick-me sign on his back right now, so I can do it at commercial break. But, you know, now that he's scared the hell out of everybody, John, to actually getting this, first of all, NDA, I think, is the way to go, the non-disclosure agreement, Al. But second of all, you know, the Internet's changed everything, right? People are putting their showers up on the Internet and showing people what their product can do without any sort of protection. They're getting a provisional patent, if that. So in many respects, showing that you had the product first, although it would be a lot of litigation, is some protection. And also, I don't think that should impede anybody from going out there and trying to sell it. If a company is unwilling to sign an NDA and they're not a perfect fit or a really good fit, then just walk away. And if they will sign an NDA, then you're in good shape.
Hey, Dan, you know, last final minutes here. Can you give us some thoughts on what people should be thinking in this, like, unfortunately turbulent time?
Well, you got to be thinking about survival and how you can maximize what you have, realizing your resources that you have within you, and then maximizing. And many times, it's just simply writing down what your thoughts are and what you want to do on a piece of paper, and then organizing them into an actionable plan. Most people say, boy, I'd love to do this, but this will get in the way or that'll get in the way. Remove those barriers and just put down what you want to accomplish. Swivelheads can help you, or there's a whole number of other people out there that can help you realize this. But don't sit idle. If you're going to bite the head off of a frog, don't stare at it too long.
That's good.
I don't know what that meant, Dan. But I'm going to leave it there.
Either you're going to be disgusted or fall in love.
I'm going to thank you, Dan, for being here.
Thanks for being here, Dan.
Dan Dooling of Swivelheads, thank you for being here. A big shout out to Stacey Curry Bishop with Scale Venture Partners. Danny and John aren't going anywhere. Neither are we. We will be right back. Again, a hotel company that is trying to make it in one of the toughest economies around. Stay with us. Let's call it Your Questions, Your Business. Starting one, growing one, finding that entrepreneurial spirit within us all. I'm Dagan McDowell along with Tracy Burns. We want to hear from you this hour. We're talking about stimulating this economy all by ourselves through your own business. Love it.
So pour yourself a bigger cup of coffee and settle in with us and give us a call, 877-249-9626. You can always email us, yourmoney@foxbusiness.com.
We have a packed hour ahead and some special people here to answer your questions about your business. We have Toma Brashear and John Russell are our special guests for this hour, founders of Nilo Hotels. Guys, before we even get into this, did I say that right? Nilo?
You did.
Good.
Yes, you did.
Stands for New York Lofts, does it not?
Or New York, London, or the only hotel you ever stay at.
Okay, I don't mean to pin you down, but let's just tell them. It is a hotel chain that's been hit hard by the recession, but you're expanding as we come out of this recession, as this country struggles. You see growth. So, guys, we're going to talk to you in a minute. Of course, John Rutledge is here of Rutledge Capital. Dani Babb. We have an all-star venture capitalist coming up. We have another pitch at the bottom of the hour. But Toma and John, let's just start with you first because, again, you have 3 locations so far, 2 in Texas, 1 in Rhode Island. You started back in 2005. I know you had great growth plans back then. You planned to open, I believe, 50. So just how have you had to adjust with this downturn in the economy? Either one of you can start.
Yeah, you're right. We did have a plan to have 50 open or out of the ground by the end of 2010. We started this venture about 4 years ago, and you're absolutely correct. We have 2 open right now, and the 3rd opens in Las Colinas, Texas, in about 2 weeks. We've had to ratchet down our growth expectations because we wanted to build the first 3 to 5 hotels ourselves. Because we know exactly what construction costs would be. How long it would take to build, how many employees it would take to operate, create the culture for this new brand. And then we were going to use the franchise platform to grow. That all seemed good about a year and a half, 2 years ago. But now, because of the unavailability of funding for debt, it's very difficult for developers and potential franchisees to get money. So we've had to ratchet down a little bit our growth plans to maybe 35 to 40 by the end of 2011.
And in addition to the debt situation, as you all have heard a lot about it because you've had a lot of guests talk about it, the occupancy in hotels has been down drastically. So therefore lenders, if they had cash, aren't willing to lend right now until you can, and developers aren't willing to develop a new product until they see that the market's starting to clear up. And we're starting to see some hope there.
Well, John, talk about that, though. How is business in the existing hotels? Is that really is your central focus, or should be, rather than growth right now, just trying to manage the 2 you have coming with 3 shortly, manage them to make some money?
Yeah, well, you're absolutely correct. I mean, fortunately, we're making debt service on the 2 existing hotels that we have open today, so that's good news. And just like the whole industry's done, we've had to do some soul searching and where to cut costs through operations, what amenities we don't really have to offer, which the consumer won't miss. So yes, we are definitely focused on operations. But like I say, fortunately, we are like the majority of hotels today are making our debt service and are making a little bit of money. The truth be known, about 2.5 years ago, the industry had a robust occupancy of about 68, 69%. And today it's hovering around 55% countrywide. So it is difficult out there, but not impossible.
Toma, tell people about your hotel. I mean, these are boutique hotels. I, too, thought Nilo was short for New York Loft. You're not in Manhattan, so I presumed it was the New York experience outside of Manhattan. So please explain to viewers, the experience they get when they come to your hotels.
Well, it does give you the feeling of a New York loft. They're poured, they're tunnel-formed concrete and brick construction, polished concrete floors, 10.5-foot ceilings, exposed pipes, very much like a New York lofts that have been converted into either housing or hotels. So that was what we designed it to be with our other partners, and it's been very widely accepted by the traveling public. And it's Wi-Fi'd, and it's the latest in the technology, and the guests love it. and it has food and beverage and a very active bar that brings in a lot of clients, and it's keeping us afloat, because it really, to use the vernacular, it really cranks on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night.
It's what we call a destination bar, and 70% of the business actually comes from the local community office buildings and families that live in the area. So we've been very fortunate there. And by the way, this hotel is built for business. It's a business hotel, and we purposely went into secondary and tertiary markets first, not the big gateway cities like New York or Chicago, because of the expense. Now, that being said, the good news is the first couple of franchisees that we've signed up are actually in the West Loop in Chicago and in New York City. So you'll see those maybe two years down the road.
You actually answered, John, really quickly one of my questions, but we just really quickly have to welcome our radio listeners. It's 6 minutes after the hour. Time to say hello, howdy, to people listening on Sirius and XM. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dagan McDowell, along with Tracy Burns.
And if you have a question about your business, starting a business, anything entrepreneurial, we want to hear from you. Email us yourmoney@foxbusiness.com, or you can always call us 877-249-9626. And if we could just jump back to our Nilo guys quickly.
Yep.
You're talking about the place in Warwick, Rhode Island that's jumping, right?
Yeah, actually, both of them are jumping pretty good. Both of these bars and restaurants, we call it the Loft, because it's one area that has a bar, it has a restaurant, it's got a business center, it's got a boutique, it's got a library, and in both hotels, it either goes out to a 5,000 square foot courtyard, like an entertainment courtyard, or in Warwick, it is a patio deck that actually goes out to the Patuxent River, so you can have drinks and entertainment right on the river.
You were talking about the hot bar scene in the two properties that are open so far, and the outreach to the local community. Was that always in your thinking, or did you make that shift to bring in people as the economy began to struggle?
It was in our thinking all along, because we locate them in places that have several million square feet of Class A office space occupied, and we marketed to those people there, both to bring their travelers to stay with us, but also to come there to dine and drink in the evening.
And the one thing we do too, guys, when we open a hotel in any community, we have an art contest with the local artisans in the area, whether they're college or university students or people that are trying to paint or create in the community. We have first, second, third place prizes for the art in the sleeping rooms, whether paintings or photographs. So we try to endear ourselves to the community that way, number one. Number two is we have something we call Nilo Music, and we create a CD in whatever area we are with 10 to 12 soon-to-be discover artists that we put on a CD. We actually sell them in the hotels. We actually bring these bands or these singers in to entertain throughout the summer or special events. We have Nilo Wear, Daniel Vasovic, who is was a
Project Runway.
For the first,
just made me jump.
First way, the first one, and he was a runner-up, and he's designed our uniforms for us, and also a clothing line for our guests and our consumers. So we have Nilo Music, Nilo Art, Nilo Wear.
You guys
we
are
also
awfully
take
hip.
it further throughout.
John, you're awfully
pretty
hip.
cool.
You and Toma are awfully
Not me. It's Toma he's the hip one.
Toma, I love how you guys are bringing in the community. Can you talk to us about your little reality show and how you brought in your own apprentice?
Yeah, Nilo, which was a big success, we wanted to hire a salesperson, so we decided, since the unemployment was so high, to solicit resumes from people who had a history of having worked in the business, and we got in lots of resumes. We reduced it to 20, and then we did face-to-face like speed dating interviews with them, 5 minutes with 4 different executives.
Not your kind of speed dating.
Yeah, right. and reduced it down to 8 people, and then they went through 4 days of different sales experiences, and we chose a winner. And then we also had opened it to people that were in the hospitality schools. So we hired a person as an apprentice for 1 year, and we hired a person that's a student for a 3-year internship, both paid.
And we tied it in at the final night. We tied it in with a charity event for the Food Bank of Rhode Island there, and we raised about $4,000 for the food bank and had a reception that night at the hotel, and that was part of the contest.
very cool.
And all of the apprentice candidates all lived in the hotel from Saturday night till Friday morning.
Toma, you said resume, but the viewers want to know about your resumes, because I know John had experience. You worked in the hotel business, but people think hotels, they think incredible cost, incredible work, a very, very saturated industry. Why hotels?
Well, that's what we know best.
Right, but tell people your backgrounds too, Toma.
Well, yeah, I started my business career out of college with Procter & Gamble in brand management, then ended up in the electric utility business. From there into, I got active in the community and got involved in convention bureaus, and that eventually led me into the hotel business. And from there, after working for corporations for a number of years, both John and myself decided that we'd go out on our own, and that's how we started branching out. We have started other businesses besides Nilo.
And what you don't know is Toma and I have known each other in the industry for about 34 years, and we've worked together at about 3 different major corporations 3 different times, and then we've been in our own businesses together for about the last 10 years.
You worked at Sendit, John, back in the day.
I did back in the day, and how I got into the hospitality business, the hotel business, is I went to West Point and went into the Army for 5 years, and so I'm a trained killer. So don't ask me any tough questions. But
that's why you're via remote, John.
but anyway, so when I got out of the service, I was with an executive search firm that used to help exiting military service, people find jobs in the business community. My job was to set these big conferences up at hotels. I like the hotel business more than I like the executive recruiting business, so I got a job offer from Sheraton. That's how I got into the business back in 1975.
All right, so you guys
we've learned over the years.
Go ahead, Toma. I'm sorry.
Right. The thing that we've learned over the years is that you have to keep the contacts that you have, even though you may. In today's economy, as you all are very aware, people are losing their jobs. They're not broke, but they've lost their job, and they want to know what to do. And they want to, maybe we'll start a business. Well, that's a great idea, but you need to know how to leverage your capital. And don't try to own the whole thing. Try to leverage your capital and bring in people that know you, trust you, or go out to capital sources and bring some in and bring people in and own a piece of something, and then. Like we own restaurants, we own a parking company, we own a cigar company, we own a variety of things besides Nilo hotels that we're involved in.
Yeah, but it comes back to that old never burn your bridges adage.
So
Right.
Cigars.
Absolutely.
If anybody is out, the cigars, parking, hotels, you guys could tell them anything about anything.
Cool.
That's where.
So you could smoke a cigar in your car.
On your way to the
before you
hotel.
check in. And then eat in a restaurant, too.
Guys, that's why we're so
excited. But don't do anything that you don't have fun at. That's the big thing. Don't do anything. Don't try to get into business that you don't think you would enjoy or that you can't have fun.
That's great
Actually,
advice.
He's right about that. The motto for our Nilo Hotel is passion, service, design, and fun. And the fun is what I think over the last 5 years with 9/11 and SARS and corporate malfeasance, kind of the fun out of hospitality has been missing, and that's what we're trying to get back. Fun people serving fun people.
Oh, we've got 45 minutes of fun coming up, and we're so thankful, John, that you and Toma are here. So keep calling about starting your own business. Just those two guys we could talk to for 8 hours.
Heck yeah, totally fun and inspirational. Call us, 877-249-9626. You can always email us yourmoneyfoxbusiness.com. Remember, we are the only business network live on a Saturday taking questions about that blue flame coming out of your butt, that John Rutledge out there. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody, to Your Questions, Your Business. And rounding out our all-star lineup for this hour, we want to bring in and welcome Eric Strausser of More Davidow Ventures. Eric, great of you to be here. We're so excited because you're going to be fielding the pitch coming up at the bottom of the hour as well. But we've got Dani Babb, John Rutledge, and two superstars from Nilo Hotels. Hey, guys. 2 superstars from those Nilo hotels.
Yeah, and I want to throw to you superstars just for a second. Toma, John, jump ball here. But, you know, you briefly alluded to the fact that you're starting to see a turn. You're starting to see, does that mean you're starting to see more people coming into the hotels? Are you seeing people spending more money? Are you seeing bigger bar tabs? Both. What are you seeing?
Both. We're seeing people, you know, that crash of occupancy has stopped. We're seeing starting to see a gain in the number of rooms rented per night. We're starting to see the ability to pick up a little rate, and people are loosening up and spending some more money in their food and beverage.
I think we've bottomed out in June, and I think it's now on the upturn. And you know, vacations are almost a birthright. People still take them, even though they might be a little bit shorter. And we're starting to see business travel to pick back up. That's on the consumer side. On the development side, however, it's still slow, 0 to slow, and I don't see that coming back, quite frankly, until the markets come back, the capital markets and the lending, and I don't see that till the first, second quarter of next year.
Still signs of light. We like that.
It's something.
Rob is on the phone from Connecticut. Rob, you called in. Go ahead, ask your question.
Hi. My name is Rob. I'm a professional photographer from Connecticut. I have a school picture business. I've been in business for 34 years. I used to shoot weddings, and I've converted over to schools. The problem is that I'm the best at what I do. No one can touch me for the quality of work that I do. My price is $10 less than my competitors, which are the big companies that do national schools all over the country. And my commission that we give back to the schools is twice what my competition gives. Yet I can only get 1 in 100 schools that I call on. The average sale is $30. We give the average school of 500 to 600 kids $4,000, and my competitors' priced are $10 more than me. They're given $2,000 less, and their quality can't even touch my quality. These pictures that I do reflect the soul of the kids. They're very special. I'm in a position where I really don't have to work anymore, but I'm trying to carry out my gift and spread it with people in today's pictureless society.
And your question is how do you compete with these bigger businesses, right, Rob?
Right. The biggest problem is it's a very dirty business, and I'm not a dirty guy.
Well, you need to come to my kids' school, because their school photographer is this scary-looking guy, and my daughter will not sit in front of him. I have no class pictures of my daughter.
Well, Rob, you don't play dirty, but we can teach you how to play tough. And that's why we're going to toss this question to Dani Babb, because she's tough.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, have you been able to find out from the people who have said no, what are they giving you? What reason are they giving you in terms of why?
Problem is getting in to make a presentation. Today, no one will give you names of PTA people. You cannot get in to make a presentation. That's the biggest problem. If I can make a presentation, I can usually get the job.
John, I would think on cost alone he should get in the door, if he is presumably cheaper than everybody else.
Well, the problem that Rob alluded to is a situation of kickbacks in local schools, which is really a bear to do, because if you did all the work to expose it, then you're not going to get that contract anyway. So I think you need to find a way to get into these schools and PTA groups, not through the school, but through the local community around the back, so you can meet the people away from the school campus and do that. But it sounds like finding a way to leverage your talent into more schools is the job here.
What about going where something similar would be? Like, I'm thinking baseball teams or
soccer.
Soccer.
No,
I mean,
I'm not
sports.
Into that. You know, an average school of 500 kids that I find, I'm walking away with $5,000 to $6,000 profit per day. So it's not a bad gig, you know. And you're right, it is extremely corrupt. You know, it's.
You know what?
I've even thought about going to the Attorney General.
No, you know what? You go to the parents and let them know what's going on, and you let them do the work for you. That would be my right, Tracy. That would be my guess.
As a parent,
start spreading the word with the parents. And that's not playing dirty.
No, because when they get on and they have an agenda, man, they go to town with it. I've seen it. I've seen it in action. They're crazy people.
I know he said, getting into the PTA, that issue, but again, just, spread the word around town.
Well, I'm thinking if he can expose the parents through some other method, hence the sports teams and so on, not because that's the passion, that's not where you want to be, but maybe just doing it for a short period of time, just to get to the parents.
I see what you're saying.
All right, that's good stuff.
Let's take a quick break, everybody.
I'm going to give a shout out to our radio listeners on Sirius Channel 145 and XM 168. Thanks
We
for
still
listening.
have a lot more time for your questions. 877-249-9626. Or send us an email, yourmoney@foxbusiness.com. Even if we don't get to that email this week, we will next week, because we're here for you every Saturday in True HD. Your business on the Fox Business Network. Let's get right to those questions. Michael called in. He's on the line from my home state of Virginia. Michael, what do you want to know? Go ahead, ask your question.
Yes, I'm retired from, from NASA Research Center in Hampton, Virginia, and been working on a solar design. Currently have done what is called a initial patent search, which was completed, and the patent search came back negative. Nothing came even close to my design. I'm also now patent pending. Have designed and built a 1/3 size prototype. My question today is, I'm seeking what's called in the business as an angel in regards to getting a green company begun and started.
Michael, you called the right show, thank goodness, and the right time. Eric Strausser at Moore Davidow. Eric, that's your business.
Yeah, indeed. Our partnership focuses in 3 areas: information technology, life sciences, and I lead our clean tech practice. So this question falls right in the things that I do day in and day out. It sounds like the caller's well on the path to getting some of the technology risk out of the company. My counsel would be to continue to seek out capital to develop a prototype. At some point, I suspect the entrepreneur will exhaust the ability of angel financing to build out either prototype or early manufacturing equipment. At that point, it probably makes sense to turn to a venture capitalist to help finance the business downstream.
But Eric, if not you, then give him some guidance on where and how to raise that money right now.
Right.
Well, if you're seeking out angel investment, usually on a metro area basis, so whatever the nearest large town or whatever the business network that is nearby you will probably be the most relevant and quickest and potentially easiest way to raise angel money. Really, angel investors are investing, usually on the range of hundreds of thousands of dollars into early stage companies to try to move them along one risk point. So I would focus on people that you know, the business community around you, or if you have to seek out larger communities, either the New York, Boston, or Silicon Valley area.
Go ahead.
Come on the show and make a pitch. So it's an option.
Hey, Eric, one quick thing though, but just talk broadly about the availability of money in green and clean technology, because that is one of the areas, particularly with the government's involvement.
Right.
Isn't it hotter than other areas of funding?
Yeah, well, it certainly is. And if you go back and look at the industry statistics, you'll find as an investment category, it goes from basically, rounding error or obscurity 4 or 5 years ago to being the number 3 area for dollars invested last year by venture capitalists. So it's an area of a lot of importance and focus today. Also, I think you noted the tailwinds we see out of the administration about needing to pivot or to revitalize the industrial base of America. I think green and clean tech are going to play a big part of that.
Great.
And I know we have to go to break, but I'd love to hear Eric's thoughts later on. Nowadays, all you do is throw green on the name of something, and all of a sudden it becomes a hot topic. I mean, are we seeing fraudulence already and stuff like this? Because as you said, there's money out there. Eric said there's money out there. People are pushing these products, and you got to wonder if they work.
We'll get an answer, Eric, when we come back, and more from all of our all-stars. We have Toma Brashear, John Russell from Nilo, Danny and John. They don't even have last names anymore because they're
like
so
Cher.
well known.
It's like Cher.
Cher. Sonny and Cher, John and Danny.
There you go.
Yeah, but better looking and more talented. More money, too. We'll be right back, everybody. Stay with us. Again, the pitch to our venture capitalists when we come back.
Your questions about your entrepreneurial spirit, and we got Joe from my home state of Jersey on the phone. Joe, we're probably related because I'm Italian and all my relatives are named Joe.
My name is Joe, yes.
See? I'm sure eventually we'll figure out we are related. What's your question, Joe?
My question is, I spent 35 years in the cosmetic industry, and due to the economy, I was laid off, and I'm thinking about opening up a day spa.
And so your question is, how do I go about this? Let's throw this out to
correct.
Toma and John. What do you guys think? Would you put a spa in your hotel?
Well, yeah, actually, we're contemplating it. We already have pretty extensive health facilities and saunas and steams and so forth. And depending on the marketplace, we certainly would consider a
But what do you recommend?
Spa. And as you know,
so what do you recommend Joe does then right now?
Well, he needs to put the business plan together relative to what it would, what it would cost to put a spa into a hotel based on what he's thinking about, or if he's putting day spas not in hotels but freestanding, and then go start looking for capital.
Joe, do you have spa experience at all?
Yes, I spent, again, 35 years in the industry. I'm also a cosmetology instructor, and I'm also a hairdresser as well. And I'm also a cosmetic chemist.
Where do you want to open your spa, Joe? Do you want to open it in Jersey?
I'd like to open up in Jersey. I would like to open up in a spot that's pretty much lucrative, where there's a lot of traffic. And today everyone's conscious of both men and women and how they want to look and how they want to feel.
John, go ahead. You were going to say something.
No, I was just going to tag on what Toma said. It is critical, and I'm sure Joe's thought about this, put together the business plan and then try to... In our case, we were fortunate enough to get a corporate equity partner, but in the very beginning, we went out and we approached high net worth individuals to help, and family and friends to help us get funded along with our own funds. So one is putting the business plan together, and two is then who is it you would like to get funded through. The easiest way, I would think, to try to get this started is either family, friends, or high net worth individuals, and then either a venture capitalist or maybe even an angel.
Danny, because you,
I think,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Toma and John are perfect examples of how you can actually build something in a recessionary economy that's a luxury item and still be successful because you're differentiated. So I would really focus first, Joe, on how you're going to differentiate your spa from all the other ones out there and why people are going to be willing to pay for it in this particular economy. Now, assuming that you've done that and because your expertise and so on, you know exactly what you want to do, the building is going to be probably the cheapest it will be in the next several years within the next 24 months. So I think this is the perfect time to secure the space. The build out is where you're going to tend to need the capital, which is, if you're looking for less than $500,000, I would hit up 15 banks under an SBA loan and see which one you can get it from. But I would focus first on how it's going to be differentiated, particularly in a saturated market. When you have high population areas like you're talking about building it out in, it also means there tends to be a lot more competition. What do you think?
I think there's also an opportunity in people who have started and are already running places that are not working very well. So if you can get this marketing focus, you can maybe be able to go in and take over an operation someone else has already put together. That way you don't need the front-end capital, but you can use your special brand and special sauce to improve the revenues and the margins.
Yeah, I mean, this is something John brings up all the time, too. Even getting equipment, right? Spas are shutting down left and right. Pick up their old equipment so you don't have to buy the new stuff. Things like that.
Yeah, I always like the idea of learning to shave on the other guy's beard, which may not work for a day spa, but the idea is use somebody else's money, because money's tough to get today.
How about use somebody else's leg for the first wax?
Yeah, that would work.
That's more appropriate. But right now, thanks, guys. Right now, it's time for that segment, the pitch. An entrepreneur gets his or her chance to pitch his or her idea to a venture capitalist. Today, or in this hour, our lucky entrepreneurs are Matt Mayernick and Daryl Bryant, co-owners of Hudson Horizons. They're going to tell us what their business is in a second, and we want to just reintroduce Eric Strausser of More Davidow Ventures, our venture capitalist. So listen up, Eric. Daryl, take it away.
Hi, Eric. Thank you. It all started about 6 years ago when Matt and I started Hudson Horizons, and we set out to build a company because we saw a tremendous need for clients to be able to update the content of their website all on their own. So within the past 6 years, that's exactly what we've done. We've created a company that builds customized, fully scalable sites where our clients can actually log into their own websites, update their content, add new pages, update products. If it's an e-commerce site, they can view all of their orders and see all their customers. So basically, we build them a centralized system where they can manage their entire business through their website. And now with the explosion of Web 2.0, we've really jumped on that bandwagon, and we're now offering social networking websites, and we're doing development for the Web 2.0 industry. And basically, we also offer social media marketing services to help our clients get more exposure on platforms such as Facebook and Twitter. And right now, we're having a tremendous growth stage, and we're looking to take that to the next level and continue the growth and expand Hudson Horizons. We're seeking $1 million in capital, and with that injection of money, we're looking to increase our in-house resources, build our company, do some research and development, and really take Hudson Horizons to be the #1 web company in America.
Eric?
Well, that's a very ambitious vision, and it sounds like the company is already revenue stage. Could you give a little detail on the number of customers you have?
Sure. Well, we have over 100 plus customers.
Okay. And so as you've presented it, really the innovation that you've made is you found a way to use technology to improve the customer service and your ability to bring on customers and allow them to manage their own content. And the question in these businesses, if you look at how do you scale them, what's really important is to understand how do you bring customers on, i.e. what's the cost of customer acquisition as related to your sales and marketing expense, and then what's the lifetime value of a customer, meaning how many dollars can you extract from that customer, both from a revenue sense but more importantly from a profit sense over your anticipated life cycle of that customer. And so I'm encouraged by the amount of money you're seeking out. It sounds like you have a very thoughtful, metered approach to raising capital. And really, I think an investor is going to dig into how well do you guys understand the model so you'll know exactly where to apply resources, whether it's to add more headcount, improve the customer experience, spend money on operations. There's a variety of areas you could spend money on at this point in the business, and you really need to understand the model, the customer model, to figure out how to scale your business.
Okay, no, that's great information. Thank you.
Is $1 million too much, Eric? And also, is this business VC money, or should it come from somewhere else?
You know, $1 million is probably right on the edge of whether you could raise it with angels or raise it from venture. It's not to say that venture capitalists aren't interested in investing small amounts of money. The question is, what's the total amount of capital the company envisions consuming on its way to break even and profitability? If that number in total is $500,000, it's probably not going to be of interest to a venture capitalist. But if that number turns into be, single digits or small double-digit millions of dollars, then I think there's a lot of applicability for the venture business.
Eric, give him a bottom line. Yay, nay, what's the next step?
It sounds like the company's done a terrific job of getting the technology risk out of the business. And so this is really about, is this a model that can scale? So it's going to be all about the cost of acquisition, the relative margins, and whether this is a business that scales to what natural size. Is there a natural type of customer that wants to do this, over which they just do this on a custom basis? Or is there customers that are so small they use sites like Ning or others to arrange their behavior? So I think it's a relation to market size and then what's the overall attractiveness on a per customer basis.
Matt, Eric raises a great question. How do you guys get it out there? How are you marketing, and how do you figure out what clients you should be approaching?
Sure. I mean, basically our clientele is the small to medium-sized business, and our marketing is all online, whether it's through pay-per-clicks or through these social networks. What we're able to do now is basically directly market to our clients. using these platforms.
100 clients just that way is pretty incredible. And it's just in the, when did you found it? You said
2003.
Yeah, it was just
2003.
In 2003. Danny, you're all about marketing online. Danny and John, we would just want you to weigh in here because I know you have incredible insight from Matt and Daryl.
Well, I'd want to know first how you intend to compete with the bigger companies that are doing this moving forward, because as you know, there are more now entering that space, and particularly in the Web 2.0 area, which I think is the area of growth. I think you guys have nailed that in terms of the future. But what's your process to compete with those bigger companies? What's your plan to do that?
Sure. I mean, basically, it's a very competitive market. You know, anyone from a freelance designer to, like you said, one of the leading companies in America are our competitors. Where we position ourselves is the fact that we are truly a customized solution provider. We don't use third-party tools or any off-the-shelf platform products. Everything we do is hand-coded from the ground up, which allows us to be completely scalable and make our websites completely 100% search engine friendly.
And then we take it one. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I was going to ask you if the target market for this is small to mid-sized businesses, mid-sized, larger companies. Where do you see it fitting?
No, exactly, small to mid-sized companies.
And Matt, finish your thought.
And then we take it one step further because once the site's all done, I mean, you need traffic to your site. We help you market it online, and that's our big focus also.
John Rutledge.
Yeah,
or
a
Danny.
lot of people do need help with that. So.
Yeah, I'd be interested in what is if I'm the customer, what's it going to cost me to do this as a range for a small business? What's the cost per month or per year for me?
In terms of the development of the website or in terms of the marketing?
If I'm the business and I want to do this, what is going to be my all-in cost that I have to pay to you per month or per year in order to do this product?
Sure. You know, we work on a project basis. So for building your website, there's an upfront cost for us to build your site. Our lowest end websites start at $5,000 and they go way on up. And then if we're doing some search engine optimization or social media marketing, then we work on a monthly fee to manage that for them. And that could range anywhere from, you know, a few $100s to a few $1,000s a month, depending on the company and depending on the amount of time and resources required to manage their campaigns.
Right, because a project business runs differently and scales differently than an ongoing service flow business, like the second one you're describing. And a project business ends you up with huge personnel and recruiting issues to work through. But that's interesting. Obviously, the web sales and the small business sector are great places to do it. I'd go with Eric of what are the margins and what's the profitability of getting this thing up to size are the key questions.
I have an idea for you too, and that is to take a percentage, and more businesses are looking to do this. We have call-ins all the time, and how do I get my marketing done, and how do I get search engines to find me, and so on. If you could find out a model where you're not charging a small business up front, because a lot of them today are going to immediately cringe when they hear the word like retainer or anything like that. If you can try to get a percentage of the profit of direct revenue that you bring in, you know how it would work. It basically come through your site and into theirs, so that you're able to capture and you know exactly how many sales actually came from your efforts. If you're able to somehow get a percentage of the revenue, people would see a value add there, and they knew they wouldn't have to pay unless you actually performed. I think that could be some area to look at that might differentiate you from your competitors.
And more attractive to an investor, too.
Right. We didn't write you a check, but I certainly hope that was helpful, guys.
No, thank you very much, all of you.
So Daryl Bryant, and you were on the TV, and we'll put up a clip of this on the Fox Business website. So Daryl Bryant and Matt Mayernick. I hope I said that right, Matt.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Of Hudson Horizons.
They're Jersey boys.
Again, we take these clips every week, and we're putting them on foxbusiness.com. So you can link, you can embed. You can tweet about them. You can write about them on Facebook, whatever you want to do. So guys, thank you so much.
Okay,
yeah, and keep us posted. Let us know how everything is going and how it grows and how the fundraising comes along.
Thank you so much.
Thank you both. Keep the questions coming. We got 15 minutes left. Let's take a quick break.
Time flies
when you're having fun. And doggone it, I love being here. Have fun every week. And we've got Toma Brashear and John Russell.
Howdy, too, next block, by the way. Hold on to your hats.
Hold on to your hats. Grab a hold of your seat. Don't move a muscle. We'll be right back.
We're going to go right to your emails because we don't have a lot of time left. Robert W. emailed in and said, President Obama says green jobs are the jobs of the future, but green companies have to get certification at every turn. Is there any advice you can give to a startup and environmentally friendly business? Eric, I got to toss that out to you.
Sure. Well, I think the question might relate to products being certified as they relate to the markets they serve. And certainly I think when you're dealing in areas around the environment or around natural resources or around power, you're going to have product reliability, product warranty, certification kind of product issues to work through. The good news is that a lot of these processes have been streamlined for small companies. I would say the biggest thing that you see coming right now is the current administration understands that in order to make this area go faster, things have to be streamlined. So whether you look at Secretary of Energy, C2, or others, there's really a transformation going on in a lot of these areas to make them more growth business and small business friendly. So I think help's on the way.
Also, to toss it out to Toma and John. Toma and John, what about marketing through, as you know, making your business environmentally friendly, earth friendly? Because there's been so much of that. Has it been part of what you're doing? Will it be part of what you're doing? Does it work?
Yes, it's very important, and consumers are looking for that. They want to be eco-friendly, and where they stay, they want to be eco-friendly. To give you, for instance, we have one floor of our hotel that's called the Pure Floor, P-U-R-E. And I don't know if you know this or not, but 1 out of every 10 Americans have allergies. So what we've created is a room that's hyperallergenic. It has a 7-step process. It has an air filter purifier that goes under the bed or under the couch. There is a treatment that goes with the shower heads, with the bed covers to prevent mites. We process this and clean this, recycle it every quarter. And it's been a tremendous marketing tool for us. In fact, those Pure rooms actually sell first in our hotel, and they sell at a premium, anywhere from a $10 to a $20 premium. So that's an example of you know, being eco-friendly with our Pure rooms. Also, the construction of our hotel is tunnel-formed concrete. It has very good thermal ranges. The brick panel masonry. We have everything in our room is almost recyclable. We also engage in a program where you don't have to have your towels washed every day. You elect to wash them every 3 days, so it saves on the water. And in 2 of our hotels, we have 100% renewable energy credits. And in the 3rd hotel, we have 50% wind power. So we're a believer, and I think it's a trend that is here to stay and is very, very impactful.
And there are RFPs when people are coming in, when corporations are looking to do business with hotels now, they're asking for you to talk about all of the green components and LEED certified and everything for your hotel. So
well, Toma, that's what I was just going to ask. I mean, because right now I want to come stay at your hotels. So how do you get that out? How do you market that out to people? Is this part of your brochures? Is it? I mean, how do you get the word out to people? Because I would come take that hyperallergenic room, even though I don't have allergies.
Well, we talk about it through all of the social media. We talk about it in all of our presentations that our salespeople make face-to-face. It's on our websites. And it's just something that we talk about. It's second nature to us to talk about it all of the time. And it's available when people come into our food and beverage establishments. They see what's going on in the hotel because we have brochures and information that tells them that.
But the best place is the website, www.nilohotels.com. You go on there. There's a whole section on green, on our green operations.
Well, are those Pure rooms as far away as possible from the pet-friendly rooms? I'm just curious because I know
she's got a dog.
I've got a dog, and I tell you that is a huge. Again, animals, pet owners. You want to talk about marketing might? It is to people who have pets.
But I got a kid who's got a dog allergy, so I can't stay in the same room that you've stayed in.
Well, you won't have to. Not at Isla.
Well, thank goodness I'm coming to Rhode Island.
Go ahead, guys. Sorry.
No, it is one whole floor. So, you know, you've got your own floor, basically, that's hyperallergenic. And we are considering doing a whole hotel that way, but I don't think that the market, you know, demands it right now. But they've been very successful. By the way, we are pet friendly.
I know. You have pet packages down. You have pet packages. I checked it out.
We do, actually.
I know. I checked it out.
I checked the wine tasting packages out. You checked the pet packages?
So I'm hanging out. I'm hanging out with my dog in my room, being a loser. Tracy's.
We personally.
I'm on the wine tour.
Well,
I saw it. There's a wine package. I saw it. Wine tours,
We
vineyards.
personally, yeah.
There's also a Shred Your Ex package, too. No.
I'm on that one, too.
We've been involved. We've been involved in the wine packages. We're a hands-on management, senior management
and
team.
And you've tried
we
them.
stay involved in those. Yes.
I'm good. That's good. That's good marketing for me. I'm coming now.
Guys, stay right there. We're just going to take a quick break. Not much time left, but we will get to more of your questions when we come back here on the Fox Business Network. It's about you and your business. Straight ahead.
Hi, happy Saturday. It's almost over. It goes so fast. I'm Tracy Burns along with Dave McDowell. This is Fox Business Network Awake on a Saturday.
4 hours is never enough time. Danny, I saw something this past week that the SBA came out with some new loans. They're essentially emergency loans for small businesses. America's Recovery Capital. They're aimed at helping people essentially service, either in principal or interest, previous debt. There's been some trouble actually getting the lenders to make the loans, but I thought it was worth at least mentioning for anybody out there who needed, again, emergency funding.
Yeah, there's an $11 billion infusion that's coming in the next couple of months. Well, it's actually started, but that will continue through August or September of this year. And part of that is emergency capital. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the cap on that is between $35,000 and $50,000, depending upon the size of the business, for emergency funding. And you have to prove that, one, there's some sort of hardship in terms of you're about to lay off somebody or numerous people. You need it to make payroll, or your business is about to go into default in numerous loan status. But if that's the case, you need to go to organizations that are very friendly with SBA loans. And right now, the biggest one I'm seeing is HSBC. The other ones, and Bank of America is starting to come back a little bit, but the other ones, they're doing exactly as you're saying, Dagan, and they're kind of blowing people off.
I knew you'd know that.
She did. She said, Danny will know this.
I knew you'd know that. I was curious about it. John, thoughts?
Final words, John.
Final word, I think the deal of the day is John and Toma showing us that two partners who like each other and respect each other and have fun working can do some really cool things together. I think working together as partners in a business like they're doing is a lot of fun, and they're having a good time doing it. Great to see them.
Mm-hmm. We love you two, though, as a partnership as well. But John and Toma, we got to toss it to you. I thought you guys were delightful as well. Give us some final words and tell us where to find your hotels. Give us the website.
The website's www.nylohotels, NYLOHOTELS.com. And we have, as you mentioned, we have one open in Providence, Warwick, Rhode Island, right on the water there on the Patuxent. We have one in Plano, Texas, which is about 25 minutes northwest of Dallas. And we have the third one opens in 2 weeks, Las Colinas, Texas, near the DFW airport. And hopefully a fourth one in Overland Park, Kansas next year.
Toma?
And come spend money.
And come spend money. That's right. We need
I'm coming to drink wine in a hyperallergenic room.
And just keep urging your listeners to travel and enjoy themselves. And it's a safe country to travel in, and we're hoping to be able to host some of them.
And Toma likes to host a lot of them.
And we're going to be there. Hey, Eric, you've got about 15 seconds, but just some final words for everybody.
Well, I think the Nilo gentlemen are exactly the kind of entrepreneurs that typify growing small businesses here in America. And while this has been a difficult time in the last couple of quarters, is actually an excellent time to start and scale a business.
Amen.
Amen. And we've got the people here to prove it. And the people here to tell you how to do it. That's why we're here. So a big thanks to everybody. Toma Brashear and John Russell of Nilo. Of course, Eric Strausser out at Moore Davidow Ventures. And then Dani Babb and John Rutledge, always here for inspiration.
Our Sonny and Cher.
No, they're better than that.
No.
No, that's... no.
All right, I'll stop. Thank
For
you
now.
so much for being here.
Tracy
we had
stops
a fabulous day. Yeah, for now.
We will be back Monday and next Saturday, and we can't wait to see you.